Hello, hello. Hi, my name is Alia, and today we'll discuss about some of you have asked me why did I transition from computer science to education? And I guess that's a valid question because computer science itself is a huge industry, and for someone from computer science to transition into education itself, I mean, you would want to know why. And I've collected a few questions from some of you, and well, listed the top 5 questions, which I'm going to sort of answer today. And the first one is, why did you study computer science in the first place? Right. So, yeah, first question, why did you study computer science in the first place? That's fair. I mean, I guess that goes about the where my life was heading when I was in high school, because during SPM or CJ Pendidikan Malaysia, which the public education sort of system made in Malaysia, I pursued 10 subjects, science, art. So science, 9 subjects, and plus art as a sort of elective, because I wasn't sure what I was going for entirely. But I knew that I wanted to be somewhere in education itself. And right after my high school, I immediately enrolled myself for a diploma in early childhood education. But during the orientation, I felt like something was telling me this is not the place that you should be. And I don't know, it just felt like if I stayed there anyway, I'm just gonna kill my soul for some reason. It felt really, really heavy or really dark, and sort of like a moment where I feel like if I don't drop out right after the orientation, I'm going to kill myself. It's sort of something like that, but not in a way that sort of literally, but I would kill my individuality, if that makes sense. Right. So after that, I went for matriculation, which something that I sort of decided on right on spot after the orientation. Like when I figured out that wasn't for me. I got computer science, so when I got it, I just felt like I should just go along with it, and from there moment on, I got my sixth choice in degree, which is in computer science software engineer. So this is just something like a simplified version of the entire story. I actually started coding when I was 9 or 10, and that's actually when I started learning my alphabets. So I haven't yet diagnosed, but I suspect myself to be a dyslexic. I'm not entirely sure because I'm too scared to go testing at this point of age. So yes, coding since 10, got that diploma in early childhood education. I was offered in the UPU, by the way, computer science engineering in University Utara Malaysia, but I didn't go for it. Went for matriculation in computer science, and here I am in bachelor's computer science, and again here I am in postgraduate diploma, where I'm specializing in computer science education. So I guess it's just like I kind of knew where I was going for, but in a way it's just how life works, I guess. Okay, and so that's that for the computer science. In terms of the quality perspective, I guess it helps me to be flexible about the industry I'm going to go for, because as a computer science student, I can choose pretty much any industry, because every industry needs technology. So you kind of like having some transferable skills right there, and in that, I guess you can sort of give it to your own advantage. You can be in design, or like if you're going for multimedia, you can pursue that. Or if you're more of a consulting part, then you can go for business analyst or business consultant, where you help clients to decide what are the business requirements for each systems, and Sometimes you would even pursue with project management, which what my dad went for. And so it depends on what kind of thing you're into, and computer science enables you to do that. That's the biggest advantage, I think, that everyone should take note of in terms of computer science. And in terms of like another benefit is probably the high earning potential. So I've known few people that are in Malaysia earns about 100 figures as a fresh graduate. I'm talking about 8,000 ringgit per wait, is it six? Oh, sorry, 6 figures. My bad. Okay, 6 figures. And I do know some people with 8 figures, but of course they're in a more senior role. But yes, the pretty much the sky's your limit. You can pretty much target anywhere from there. Let's say if you're just sort of going by the flow or going through the motions, you can jump into computer science, and then once you have enough money or funding and figured out where you want to be, then you can start from there. Because I've seen people who are from computer science jumping into different fields like business or F&B, anything really. And that's perfectly fine because they have the technology and the understanding of the technology to pursue with the business, and also enough funding, of course. So yes, you can do that too. All right, so let's go on to the second question. So the question reads, what are the pros and cons of studying computer science? Okay, so I'm just gonna outline the basic ones. I think I mentioned that a little bit in the first question. Right, first is you get to understand the logic behind your everyday machines, like computer, your smartphone, your, let's say, smart iWatch, anything like that, or even a simple thing like a microwave, something everyone pretty much know. And the systems behind it, what are the infrastructures, what are the architecture behind it. So once you start learning computer science, you get to understand bits and bits of those kind of details. Sometimes you might not even understand it until you go through with the learning. I guess that's the worst part about learning computer science. You won't get it in the middle, but you will get it by the end of the lesson or the end of the subject that you're pursuing. So yeah, it sometimes you're too much you're pretty much deep into the details. You forgot that there's a bigger world out there. So something for you to consider. And second would be you will learn a lot of transferable skills, which also includes knowing and be updated about the latest and newest technologies and tools available. This could be phone apps or even systems, or even what are the trends. I think right now it's about quantum computing, and a little bit about e-learning as well. So that's that. And yes, as things progress faster, you will pretty much see the how trends change and what tools are new, what tools are in, what tools are out. Like for example, I've experienced Python 2.0 funeral. We actually had a funeral here in Malaysia. We organized a party where all the Python developers, including students of course, that can just like opt in, and then you just pay about 5 ringgit and you get a huge cake with like sort of like a funeral tombstone that says RIP Python 2.0, and then there's just like a bunch of drinks and other food as well, like pizza. So you can pretty much go for that too. Yeah, there's a lot of communities of computer scientists or techies in Malaysia itself. You can get involved in those. Such one of the other things is Google Cloud Developers or Google Developers Club, or there's a new one where it's focused mostly on students in campuses, Google Developers Student Club. So you can join your nearest campus. If you're in UM, do join the DSC and yeah, try to be involved as possible. You can also organize and teach others about these sort of technologies and what are the impacts towards their daily usage, or maybe what do they want to learn. You can ask things like that, by the way. Okay, I think I mentioned about the transferable skills. Okay, I think I'm just gonna mention that again. A lot of transferable skills, and you can choose to be in any industry because every industry needs technology. Now, I mean, because we're in a digital age, how can you not be in a technological era? right? Like you're gonna be left out. So there will always be a job application, a vacancy open, right? So fourth is it challenges you to think logically, and in some ways sort of like a machine, like 0 and 1, and there's some fallacy in some of our thoughts that you need to iron out a little bit. So you might it might be a little bit too tough for some people, I'll admit, because even when I was going through the process of learning computer science in general, it was really hard to distinguish between one algorithm within another, because the technicality is a little bit different, but it is there. So yeah, it's all about the details and how you compile your codes into a certain design, if that makes sense. Right. So the first cons is there's a lot to keep with. So like I mentioned, you'll be updated with the latest trends and tools with technologies, but you also to keep in mind that there's a lot to keep with, to keep up with. I mean, you're learning all of this, and you're also understanding the industry. So sometimes it gets really frustrating when you're learning something that's really, 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 really old, and you're looking at the new and you think that one is better. So there's that too. And second con is sometimes you can see your own innovation side effects, and you know it's bad. For example, okay, so I'm gonna make an app that does ABC, and then it has a side effect that maybe it needs you to buy something else for it to sort of complement the entire experience. So that's a side effect. There's consumerism. In a way, I mean, it depends on the scale you're looking at, because even the simplest trend like the unboxing gadgets or iPhones has impacted the consumer sort of behavior, where you just want to have really big boxes and really nice packages, but you not really think about the economical impact in terms of sustainability and how is it going to compose, or how is it going to be degraded back into the society. Right. So cons number 3 is sometimes you know too much, and it's a little bit frustrating, especially when it comes to programming, because sorry about that. So when it comes to programming, sometimes you know there's a certain way that it can the whole system can be done better, but because it takes too much time to redo the whole thing, and most of the things works, so why improve it if it works, you know? And well, that's just it. And the simplest example I guess I can give is the use, like how a consumer uses your technology and how you protect the user data. It can be as simple as that. And I've seen this in many scales, in terms of large and even small. It could be an employee just saying, "Hey, I saw you applied a loan for this house. Oh, I didn't know you were buying a house." So it could be as simple as that, because let's say you have a friend working in the banking industry, or maybe even in a certain app that is used by you to apply for a certain thing. They can see all of that, and they can actually just talk about it. Well, I mean, as a friend, but for professionally, that's not allowed to happen. And if they could leak out certain things like that, what makes them sort of share more, right? I mean, like, what's going to be the trigger? We don't know. So things like that occurs as well. And last but not least, there's a techie bubble or tech bubble, sort of like ego inflation of some sort. And for some reason, it exists among us techies. In a way, you get judged that you're not tech enough, or you're not if that makes sense. Because let's say you don't hang out with a certain group, or you don't hang out with people that are tech, or maybe they know so much tech in terms of programming or data wise. I don't know. It's really just that, and they're sort of like giving you a peer pressure. If you're not up to the latest trends and tools and technologies, you're going to be seen as someone who's against innovation, and that sucks, obviously. But it really exists even as a student, and you can really clearly see it if you're in the industry. It sucks, but it's there, and it's not applicable for everyone, but you need to keep in mind that it is there. Right, so that's that about that question. I think that one was quite long. Anyways, question number 3. Why are you pursuing computer science education now? Okay, for this question, I guess, like I said in the first question, I've always wanted to be somewhere in education, but I wasn't sure which part. And for some reason, God, or maybe the universe, have like sent me in a path where you will pursue computer science before your education. I don't know, because I learned coding when I was 9 or 10, and after high school I was offered with diploma in computer engineering, which I rejected and went for the early education program I just talked about. And after the orientation, I felt like it's a no, it's a not for me. So I went with matriculation, and I got computer science. And then after I finished matriculation, I went for university. The first choice that I made was business, international business. But no, I got my 6th choice out of the 12, and that was computer science. So in a way, I guess it's just how life works. I can't really explain it, but I wouldn't say it's bad at all, because I do enjoy learning computer science. It's something I really love because, well, I really love technology. That's one thing, and especially when it's used for the betterment of the world, because it helps us with productivity, and that's the main important thing about today's era. It's not about how much time or how much effort you put in, but it's about how much impact can you make, right? So I guess that's that. And yeah. Okay, I guess we can move on to the 4th question, which is, what makes you not want to be a techie? Okay, so we talked about the pros and cons about computer science in general, and why I pursued the computer science education and not stay in tech per se. So I guess one of the reasons why is, throughout my degree there was a project called social engagement, and in this project we actually were able to sort of conduct it in a way that we are introducing e-learning to students so they can utilize it for their own education purposes. From there, we realized that they only know how to use it for entertainment. They don't know how to use it for their own benefit. I started the first class with something called Google Power Search, and from it's just creating 5 minutes presentation where it consists about 3 or 4 slides depending on how they want to present, right? And the first part of the Google Power Search workshop that we did was teach them how to use Google and how to use shortcuts. Like, okay, when you type in if you're using Google Chrome, you can just type in YouTube and hit tab. Straight away you can search something on YouTube. So that's just an example, and things like that. And we taught them how to find pictures and videos and music, all copyright free, and how to integrate it inside their PowerPoint. And some of them even question things like, how do I remove this picture how do I remove the background from the picture, and so on. We taught them tricks like that using PowerPoint itself. And from there, you can see how they were struggling to put up that 5 minutes presentation, of course. And we even provided tips like, don't use too much words in your PowerPoint. It's a PowerPoint, not a power essay. So of course, kids being kids, they try to do it their way, and then when it comes to presentation, they realize nobody was paying attention because there was so many things to see on the presentation slides. But that's that, right? So from that workshop in itself, I realized that yeah, kids really just use it for entertainment. They don't know what they're doing. Maybe there's something I can do about it. And so after that, I volunteered to teach other students, which is in a different program, how. I was teaching English, but I was using technology to teach English. And after that, I decided to go for a part-time job where I was teaching coding between classes, because I wanted to make sure that I was up for the job if I were really to pursue it. And so I did. That's when I sort of made my mind that I really want to be in education. And I really didn't want to be someone in tech and just creating technology for the sake of technology. And like I mentioned before, in the tech industry, it's very high pressure because you're, well, expected by, you have some sort of like high expectations between your peers and even your managers, or maybe even, well, your family, because they don't know what you're doing in front of your computer, but you're trying to sort of give your all, your brain juice into this program or even into this piece of code. But to them, it's just a piece of code, but to you, it's like your whole hours of thinking. Yeah, it's pretty much that you're being paid just to think and to solve the problem, of course. So that's that. And last but not least, let's move on to the fourth question, which is sorry, to the fifth question. Last but not least, what is your end journey? Sorry, what is your end goal of this journey? Okay, I guess the first things first is the goal of me pursuing this postgraduate diploma in education is to open up a curiosity school or a tech school that teaches digital stuff and of course other relatable things in our lives. I guess I should just name it School of Life. I don't know. I haven't figured out yet. But yes, it focuses on why we should use ABC tools and why it is important, and then how. So, yeah, a curiosity school that helps you to navigate around life or maybe even around technology. I haven't really sort of figured out the whole plan yet, but that's just like the concept of it. Okay, and the second part is a world where technology is accessible for everyone. So I want to make really affordable classes for people who are underprivileged, or even provide some sort of like a incentive program to help them to gain access to technology where they can use it at least how to type on the keyboard without doing that. So yeah, that's one of the things. And last but not least, where everyone is informed about their digital rights and, well, privacy, because that's what's lacking now in the IT industry. You get to see people sharing their information straight up without thinking about the consequences. Like, for example, someone could just literally post up a question on Instagram and say, what's your mother's maiden name? And people would just reply with a picture of their mother and then explain everything about the mother, or maybe even Instagram post where the question says, what is your favorite color? Where did you go to school? Give me a whole list. So stuff like that. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching this. I know this is quite long video, but I felt like some of you really needed that answer because, of course, I believe there are some people who looked up to me for pursuing computer science, especially coming from matriculation. For some reason, they didn't expect someone from matriculation could go to University Malaya or UM and studying computer science. And yeah, that led up to some aspirations for most of their kids. I just hope I can be that idol that you guys imagine, but no, I'm learning as much as you are. So let's just keep ourselves humble that way. All right, so thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course leave a comment down below. What do you think, and why are you here? Why what makes you drop into the video?